back to the Forcecast. We're back again for another week's episode. We are your anchors, Morgan.
And Austin.
Welcome back.
Yes, welcome.
Alright, let's get things going.
Do we have... Well, yeah, go ahead.
We'll start with our On This Day segment. I'll go ahead and start...
anything interesting the Fellowship is doing? Or the Company of Thorn and Shield or whatever it is?
Somewhat. Today, it says a clever waterman, which is actually a phrase from the books, but it's when the Fellowship discovers that they are being tracked on the river by Gollum. Which in the Fellowship Extended Edition, they do kind of elaborate on that momentarily. Yeah, they point out that Gollum has been following them since Moria. And then... for tomorrow, it says the company tries to elude him. And again, mostly it's just more of the company traveling along the river.
It's a good thing they cut this out of the movie.
Yeah.
We're already 4
that
hours
you
long.
that you can easily make just a montage, which they did. Well, and then by Sunday, Gandalf departs from Lothlorien after being brought
He was
back.
barely behind them. Why couldn't he catch up faster?
I don't know.
Didn't in the books he took some convoluted way down to Rohan? No, he didn't.
I don't even remember.
He took Shadowfax, but they didn't.
Oh, that's right.
They didn't want happy about it.
Yeah, but
they cut that out of the movie.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's just say that by early next week.
Oh, we're gonna have more. We're gonna have more.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list right now. Holy crap, we're gonna have a lot more.
The Fellowship's about to split, so.
Oh yeah, duh. That's when they split. That's why.
So then we have a lot more things going on.
Yeah, I'll save that for our next week's episode, and we'll cover that.
As D&Ders, you know one thing: you don't split the party.
Yep.
Unless you're Scanlan, in which case you burn down the house.
Yeah, then you burn down the house
Single-handedly. I'm sorry. That's another episode.
Yeah. Anyway, what's in the agenda for Star Wars?
Star Wars. Well. Today, February 24th, 1946, really?
46?
46, he's old. Is the birth of Anthony Daniels, the actor behind C-3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations.
Who has been the only actor in every single Star Wars movie ever made.
Yes, every single Star Wars. His brief appearance in Rogue One, and even a brief appearance, not as C-3PO, but as a random slave, in Solo. He's made it into every Star Wars movie.
And he's like the only person that's ever actually voiced C-3PO in like the games and TV shows. It's not?
No.
Oh, really?
There's been at least one. In my experience, one instance where it was not him. It was an Empire at War, the video game. It was not him. It was
I thought I had heard he had done 3PO
He
in all of them.
usually does. If you go through his IMDb list, it's like C-3PO and then like an episode of Law and Order, probably. But
everybody's in Law and Order.
Exactly. Maybe General Hospital. I don't know. But he's like everything of his is C-3PO. Like,
oh, wow.
Also, a couple days out from now, from February 23rd, 1980?
What?
February 23rd, 1980. Mark Hamill guest stars as Luke Skywalker on The Muppet Show.
Oh my gosh! 1980?
1980.
That was like our favorite Muppet Show episode. And I remember showing it to Paul for the first time.
Oh my goodness. Real quick, what's next Thursday? Just so I'm not getting ahead. Because I'm just going to kind of scroll through the week until we get to next Thursday.
Next Thursday is Black Panther.
No, I'm talking about what's the date.
Oh. 28th.
28th? Okay.
Very last day of February.
I'm going to put this out because this is interesting. 25th. I'm probably just going to do like the week out.
Yeah.
The 25th. Return of the Jedi is released on video cassette, CED, and Laserdisc.
Laserdisc?
The video cassette is... This is in 1986. The video cassette is priced at $79.98.
What?
In 1986.
Holy crap.
You can buy the freaking movie for $20 on DVD at Walmart. if even $20. Like.
Man, like, who actually still, I mean, other than us, obviously, who still owns VHS tapes?
This is in 1986.
I know, I'm just talking about just now, because it's like...
Plenty of people that just probably haven't gotten rid of them. I mean, Grammy and Papa own the entire original and prequel trilogy on video cassette.
That's true.
Video cassette.
I know, you just said VHS tape, and that's just like, oh, man.
Well, this is video cassette. It doesn't say VHS tape. There might be a difference. Considering how expensive it is. We are youngins.
Meh.
1986. This is long before you and I were born.
Not that long. Oh, man, that's crazy.
Yes, that's expensive.
Bite.
It's very expensive. It's a comic book. I don't worry about that. But anyway, happy birthday to Anthony Daniels.
Yes, happy birthday.
Star Wars, I mean, as much as C-3PO is not the most beloved character of all of Star Wars, it wouldn't be the same without you.
If I could, I would say happy birthday in 10 million forms of communication, but I only know just the one in English.
Really?
Yes, I made that joke.
Yes, we love you, Anthony. You help make Star Wars what it is.
Yep.
As much as people don't really like, at least as much as Riff Tracks doesn't like C-3PO, and he's not necessarily my favorite character. You were in the Clone Wars. You were like, you have a problem?
Here.
Yeah, I know. You can just tell me about it. But yeah, you help make Star Wars what it is. Very much appreciate what you contribute.
Yes, indeed.
C-3PO, he's part of it, you know?
Yeah.
He's part of Star Wars. He's been there since the beginning. And you gotta admire the dedication, the fact he was willing to wear probably a really hot plastic suit inside of a black bodysuit in the middle of the desert multiple times. It wasn't just episode 4. Like, they put this guy through hell. And not once was it a mocap suit, okay? Fun fact, when filming Rogue One, when Anthony Daniels found out that Alan Tudyk was doing everything solely motion capture, when he met Alan Tudyk, he actually sweared at him. Because he was like, I had to walk around the freaking desert in that hot freaking plastic suit. And Alan Tudyk later said, being told F you by Anthony Daniels is probably the best thing I've ever heard.
You know, yeah, sometimes...
Because never once has Anthony Daniels put on a mocap suit for C-3PO. It's always been him in a plastic outfit. Like,
yeah, for some people, getting cussed out by a celebrity is actually a pretty big accomplishment.
Hey, Alan Tudyk thinks so.
Oh, man, that's really funny.
But yeah, it's been every time he's been C-3PO. It's not been digitalized, which is funny, because you'd think in the prequels he would have definitely digitalized him, but he did not.
Everything else was.
All the clones were. No one single set of armor was made for them, but whatever.
That's so sad.
At least they did that in Hobbit. They made outfits and they made prosthetics and orc armor. But anyway, that's Anthony Daniels' birthday, and that's all I got.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Really quick, I don't think we have anything for Why is the Force Connecting Us? At least not since last time. Let me just pull up the YouTube. Haven't seen anything on our Facebook. Yeah. Nothing for that segment, which is fine. Oh my... I forgot about this. Second Angry Birds movie. Why is this even a thing?
The same reason the Emoji movie was a thing.
That's true. I heard that movie sucked.
The funny thing is, the same company that made that made Into the Spider-Verse, which is one of the best.
Really?
Yeah, same company.
Wow, that's
and
surprising.
Into the Spider-Verse is one of the best animated movies of all freaking time. In fact, I would dare say it's a pretty dang good superhero film too, in its own right.
Wow, I'm surprised.
It's a really. Have you seen it yet? You need to see
No,
it.
I've just seen
You need
trailers.
to see it. You need to see it. It's really good.
I'll get there eventually.
The animation's pretty good. It's very.
There's a lot of movies.
Also, apparently, I just found out Into the Spider-Verse, it is pocketed with, or speckled or whatever, with Stan Lee cameos.
Huh.
Because it's all animated. But people are just now starting to discover them. Because there's one obvious one. There's always one obvious one. But then apparently the director's like, oh yeah, we stuck Stan Lee throughout the movie.
So now everyone's looking for him.
Well, there's one scene when there's like, they're doing some swinging and stuff, and Miles Morales is laying on the ground, and apparently Stan Lee steps right over him, and no one's noticed until now. And the director's like, oh yeah, he's everywhere. You gotta find him. So it's like, we gotta find Stan Lee apparently throughout the movie, and it's just like, you gotta find him.
It'll turn into a repeat cycle of Where's Waldo, but instead it's Where's Stan Lee.
Well, Marvel, his cameos used to be Where's Stan Lee. Now it's so blatantly obvious, it's hilarious, but we love it. We love it.
Well, because they know that we're looking for him.
We're gonna miss him, and I heard that Captain Marvel has a really, 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 really nice tribute to him at the beginning of the movie, which is gonna make me cry.
It's probably gonna make me cry too, for sure.
And Endgame's probably the last time we're gonna see him.
I say when they had the tribute for like Carrie Fisher or like Anton Yelchin in Star Wars and Star Trek, I saw that and like immediately started crying. I'm like, no.
Nothing let me of our princess, Carrie Fisher. Our general, our princess.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher.
Anton still tears me apart. He was too young. I'm still
That is
upset.
very tragic. Like, the whole story is tragic.
Well, I remember Mom texting me that story, and she was like, oh my gosh, you have to read this, and I did a double take when I read it. I'm like, this can't be real.
I know, and it wasn't even. Usually when celebrities die, it's like some get shot. Like
yeah.
Some, it's overdose or old age. Sometimes,
Yeah,
like Christopher Lee died because
health,
he was
health
old.
Issues.
Or health. His is extremely tragic because he was young and it wasn't any of those things. He was crushed by a car, which is horrible. But
yeah, like the brake or something came off and
it's just like a freak accident and it's horrible and it was just like, holy crap! Like,
well, the poor guy was alone. Like,
he was alone and it was just.
That is heartbreaking. I literally started sobbing, and luckily I was home alone when I got that story. But I was like, this can't be happening.
Very, very tragic thing.
I'm still torn up about it. It's been a couple of years because he passed. I remember when you were on your mission. I told you about it in my email. I'm like, dude, you're never gonna believe this. Which then made the third Star Trek all the more heartbreaking for me.
They had 2 tributes in that one: Leonard Nimoy and Anton.
I know. Oh, man. Sorry.
The legend passes. That's the problem. These days, we're losing legends.
I know, they're all getting up there. Well, and then,
Robin Williams, legends. Robin Williams has been dead for a few years, but still, it's like, dang.
Carrie Fisher was still kind of a shock to me. Like, I knew she was kind of old, but I mean, last I had seen her, she was still doing pretty good, and then suddenly her heart just gave out. I was just like, holy crap, we just lost freaking Princess Leia.
Yep.
The one that I know I'm going to be so torn up about
when she lost Stanley.
Oh yeah, we lost Stanley. The one I'm really gonna be torn up about when she finally passes is Maggie Smith.
Oh. The world will shed a tear at that.
I am going to die when she dies.
The world shed a tear when Robin Williams died. Like, the world was a little less funny now that he's gone. Mm-hmm. There's some actors that's gonna be like, man, when they go. I mean, I remember saying when Stan Lee goes, it's gonna be a sad day, and he's gone.
It
now.
was a very, very sad day.
It's an extremely sad day because it's like, it's Stan Lee. Like, not only is he's just fun to look for in Marvel films, but he's a really good guy.
He gave us a worldwide phenomenon.
He's been a force for good. He's just a really heartfelt, great guy.
He basically encouraged people, like, be a nerd, be a geek,
what you love.
Be weird, do what you love. Because he was like, I just wanted to write comics, and now look at everything I've accomplished.
And and not just him, Jack Kirby, of course, his partner mostly throughout all of it. Mm-hmm. Doesn't get enough credit because he's dead. So
I know, I keep forgetting about the second guy.
And it's just been, we're losing a lot of great people these days.
I know.
And of course, we still have great people.
When, seeing how old some of them are getting, I'm like, I'm really gonna hate when your time finally comes.
Kellen, Stewart, Sean Connery.
Okay, the day that either of them, if any of those 3 die,
McKellen and Stewart
I'm going to lose it.
McKellen and Stewart need to die at the same time. Because I
won't accept it any other way.
I don't want to see either of them be sad over it. It would just kill me. Because they are, best friends.
Well, I remember, when Carrie Fisher died, I dreaded seeing the tribute to her from, Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford. I am really going to lose it if, Stewart or McKellen dies and then the other, releases this heart-touching tribute. I'm going to lose it. I'm about to lose it now. Oh, my gosh.
Those 2 are great. And they need to die at the same time because, because again, it's going to be, seeing their reaction to it is just going to break me because those 2 are just so good friends.
No, I don't want to think about it.
Stop talking about dead people.
Yeah, let's not.
They're great people. We don't need to, shed light on this, but that's not what we're talking about today.
No.
Today we're talking about How to Train Your Dragon. The franchise.
In preparation for the release of How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, which
is tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, maybe technically tonight for early release showings.
I'm speaking as though.
Yeah, I know.
I'm speaking as though it's today.
I know. But yeah, so the new How to Train Your Dragon's coming out. Which, frankly, I'm looking forward to it. I know there's some people who's kind of like, do we really need another one? But I'm like, hey, I enjoyed the first 2, so I'd gladly take another one.
Considering the tomato meter is at 92 and the want to see is at 98, I'm pretty darn certain this is a good film.
I checked earlier and it was actually at 91, so I guess it's gone back up.
And it's gone down since I last checked. 'Cause the first was at 100. They used that in the commercials when they could. But now it's also. Then it went down to 98 when we last checked on the show. Now it's down to 92. That's still amazing though. Still really good.
See, and this is what I don't get, because it's like in the 90s for Rotten Tomatoes, but when I check IMDb, it's at a 7.9.
On the Metascore? Or on
Well, it's
the
7.9 user rating, 74 Metascore.
Well, Metascore takes it from all different sources.
I know, but still, it's in the 70s. That's a C.
Don't forget that people are biased towards things. Like, Marvel movies are never going to get good scores because people, for whatever reason, hate comic book movies. Critics are snobs. I think it's very beautiful, not just in terms of its animation, but also just in its storytelling. It's a very beautiful story. Very beautiful franchise. And it knows this is the end for it. It's saying this is the last chapter in this, but it looks amazing. And I trust Rotten Tomatoes in there.
From some of the reviews I saw, it looks like it actually might be the last one.
Well, they've said that in the trailers. This is the last chapter of the story.
Oh, I thought you said I thought you said you weren't sure if it was gonna be the last one.
No, it is.
Oh, okay,
They're saying this is the last movie. They've said that, and I think that's a good thing. We don't milk this too much.
Yeah. Well, it's another one of those classic, young boy befriends dragon type story. Which, I mean, I like those stories. Well, especially
it's definitely gone more than what the book was.
Yeah. Well, and especially at the beginning of the very first one, and they establish the Night Fury is the most dangerous dragon. And then that's the dragon.
Well, the entire premise is that they're all wrong about dragons. So.
Well, yeah, but again, you think, oh, he's gonna, go up against this really dangerous dragon. That's like, oh no, it's actually pretty harmless.
Well, of course, you know he's not, because it's called How to Train Your Dragon.
Well, I know.
It's in the title.
Which I just want to say this: Hiccup totally threw a Neville Longbottom. He went from a geeky, dorky-looking kid into a total stud.
An animated stud, nonetheless.
An animated stud.
Animated characters can be attractive. It's not weird.
No, it's not.
Unless you're, old.
Well, he totally looked good in number 2, and then the minute I saw him with a beard...
Yeah, we see him with a beard.
In the third one, I'm like, what?
Still is not Scottish, though. Still trying to figure that bit out. Because his dad's the most Scottish man ever born. And he's
the son of Gerard Butler and Kate Blanchett.
I will never stop talking about how he's Matthew Broderick. Okay, I've never gotten her name because I don't know her name. So I'm just going to look this up right now.
Whose name?
Lion King. Whoever plays Sarabi.
Oh, I've never known her name, actually.
Lion King.
Which I will actually say Kate Blanchett does a really good job with the Scottish accent.
She did a good job. So, the son of James Earl Jones and not Whoopi Goldberg.
Not Whoopi Goldberg. Whoa, no.
No. Where is she? She's not.
She's on there somewhere.
She is.
Probably.
Madge Sinclair, apparently.
Is there a picture?
Yeah. She's a black woman.
Oh, yeah, she's black.
So, Simba, the son of James Earl Jones and Madge Sinclair, both deep-voiced black actors. James Earl Jones, one of the most iconic voices of all time. Matthew Broderick, one of the whitest people
one
of all
the
time.
whitest guys ever.
I say the same with Hiccup. You've got... What's his bucket?
Hold on, I think I might still have it.
No, I'm asking Gerard Butler. You got Gerard Butler and Kate Blanchett. And they give birth to Hiccup, whose actor I also can't remember at this point in time.
Jay Baruchel? I don't even know how you say his last name.
That guy. We all know him. But it's how did that happen?
I mean,
you accents are usually a product of the environment you grew up in.
Yeah, how are you surrounded by all these Scottish people?
They are not inherited. Point that out. They are a result of your environment.
Uh-huh.
How the frig did he turn out? How did any of them turn out, really? Because all of the youngins have American accents.
I say none of them have accents.
Speaking of America Ferrera did not do the best, in my opinion.
You don't like America Ferrera?
I think her performance is a little too much. At least in the second one. I haven't seen the first one in a while. Sorry, I'm a little far away. I'm leaning back. I'm relaxing. It's been a long day.
I will say, though, that Hiccup does do a good Scottish impression when he impersonates his father.
Well, yeah, because
Excuse me, barmaid. You brought me the wrong offspring. I love that joke.
But Gerard Butler, most Scottish man ever born. And then Kate Blanchett, who's she's got
fantastic.
an amazing voice. Her voice is the literal definition of flawless. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. And her accent's great, and she's amazing in whatever I've ever seen her in.
Which I will say, I'm glad she did a good Scottish accent because her Russian accent.
Never mind that thing
Ukrainian
I
accent.
said. That thing I said about flawless and that she's been amazing and everything. I'm sorry, I take that back immediately. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is a blight on her reputation as an actor, and it should be swiped clean from the record solely because of that.
Her Ukrainian, Russian, whatever it was, accent was not good.
Can I also say something about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull real quick?
Sure.
Whose idea was it? It is not a good idea, okay, to put Harrison Ford, Harrison Ford was a little bit of a grump when he was younger. He's a freaking crotchety old man these days. Whose freaking idea was it? Who thought it'd be a good idea to pair him up with Shia LaBeouf?
I wish I knew.
Is it like...
Well,
he
who
probably
directed
said,
it?
George Lucas. Like,
Then it was George Lucas's idea.
either that or it was Spielberg, but George Lucas did way too much to the movie. I forget exactly. It might have been Spielberg. But either way,
I'm gonna look it up while we're talking about
literally,
it.
he must. I bet you, Ford looked at Spielberg and said, "Man, do you hate me?" Like did you know on the set of the new Blade Runner, he punched Ryan Gosling in the face?
Yes, I heard
It wasn't
about
even
that.
for the script. He just punched him in the face. I'm like, okay. Well,
Wait, really?
yeah, he just punched Ryan Gosling in the face.
Oh yeah, it was Steven Spielberg.
Okay, Spielberg directed
But it
but
did
George Lucas wrote it and
Yeah, but it
probably
said
edited it.
George Lucas wrote the story and then someone else wrote the screenplay.
There's the problem.
There's the problem.
It's like, whose idea was it to put Shia LaBeouf alongside, like, who thought that was a good idea? Anyway,
Well, maybe that wasn't even them. Maybe it was the casting director.
Cate Blanchett. Also, I'm pretty sure Cate Blanchett's character in that movie is the inspiration for Governor Price in Star Wars Rebels. Just
you know what? She does actually look a lot like her. Now
I
that
think
I
she's
think
the
about it.
design influence because she looks just like her. I'm like, did you do that on purpose? I'm like, I mean, if you wanted to cast Cate Blanchett, would be perfect for this character, which is probably what they were going for. It's like,
But I love her in How to Train Your Dragon.
she's great. I
thought she
really
was
liked her
great.
character and the way she portrayed her was really good and very heartfelt.
Well, and I think we talked about this with
Also, can I say, America Ferrera is kind of like a callback to a bygone age, like because I remember her in the old Disney movies, the old Disney Channel stuff.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
That too. She was in a couple Disney Channel movies, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
She was in one or two.
Yeah, she was in a couple.
It's like, that's a callback to a time I was like, wow, that's a blast of the past right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Most of the actors now, actually.
Huh? You want to hear Blast from the Past? I was working today and there's a kid. He kept talking about Voldemort, but he goes, well, he found a picture. This is why, but he says, "I'm Lord Voldemort, and you're watching Disney Channel." And there's a picture of him with his wand drawing
of course.
the
Photoshop
Disney Channel
that probably
thing.
for every Harry
Yeah,
Potter
and I was just like, wow, that is a total blast from my childhood. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. I think we talked about this with Paul when we showed you the second movie. But I liked how Valka, Cate Blanchett's character, was actually kind of like almost socially awkward.
Yeah, she spent the last how many years with
Yeah,
the
because
Gargons?
she'd spent years with the dragons.
She already didn't fit among the Vikings.
Yeah, she didn't fit in with the Vikings. And then when her son suddenly shows up and she's kind of like...
Kind of feral almost, like.
Yeah, not like in a bad way, but I mean...
No.
You can see it in the way that she
feral's
acts.
not the right word, but
I get what you're trying to say, though.
almost primitive.
Yeah, a bit primitive still. But, like, she still acted okay when he was around, but she's still, like, just her mannerisms and the way she moved and interacted. Even, like, with, well, not kind of with Hiccup, but, like, she was still, like, kind of awkward, like, oh, this is her first, like, human interaction, and she did relatively okay, I think. But it wasn't just, oh, hey, my son's here, and, oh, yeah, hey, there's dragons, this is where I've been, just simple. Like, she actually acted a little more, well, kind of like you said, primitive. She's, like, crawling and, interacting in interesting ways with Toothless and the other dragons. And I don't know, I just thought that was very interesting. Now, granted, when, like, Stoic and, Gobbler showed up, she seemed pretty normal, I'd say. Like, she didn't quite act that way with them. It's probably because she... I don't know, maybe got used to Hiccup being around and kind of changed. I don't know. I just noticed that when Stoic showed up and she wasn't as primitive in her behavior.
Sorry, I'm being distracted by the worst thing I've ever seen. Sorry.
I'm gonna put that down. Anyway, I liked the addition of her character. And can I just say this? I love Stoic's character development throughout those first 2 movies. Because he went from a very...
Well, that's how characters are supposed to be in a movie.
Well, I know.
It's called arc. Where's the arc? Haven't learned anything.
But, like, he went from a very, like, grumpy Viking leader who the only thing he ever thought about was, oh, my son's gonna, take
Viking
over.
Leader, I think grumpy is implied.
Well, I don't know. But he's all like, oh, yeah, my son's gonna take over the village for me and blah, blah, blah. And yeah.
Which ended up happening.
But in a more, like, kind of a gruff way. But then he's also like...
Dragons.
Yeah, he hated dragons, and he's like, we need to slay every last dragon, and, like, that was their big thing, is whenever a dragon came by, quick, shoot him down. And he was, like, a just very grumpy, kind of mean man. And then, like, by the end of the first one, for one, he changed, because he was able to see, okay, dragons are actually pretty good creatures. But then the fact that in the second one, Valka, for one thing, was like, oh, your father would never accept this. He'd never accept what I've done. And Hiccup's like, no, he's changed. And
they didn't make a big deal out of it when he got there. He was happy to see her.
That's the part I love the most. Is that when he
They didn't make a big deal out of her not being there.
Yeah, when he showed up and realizes my wife is alive.
He's just freaking happy to see her.
Well, she's even like, why aren't you screaming at me? And immediately, like, defending herself. But all he does is, like, go up to her and just says...
Of course, a sign that he's changed.
Yeah. He just goes up to her and just says, you're as beautiful as when I lost you, and kisses her. And he doesn't...
Very touching scene.
So touching. I nearly wanted to cry the first time. I was like, this is fantastic.
I will say this. I gotta love these movies and how disproportionate... I love animated movies who make their characters incredibly, inhumanly disproportionate. And Stoic is one of those characters. Like him, Gru, Kingpin from Spider-Verse. These humongous... Like, he's huge!
I know this isn't quite animated like you're going along, but I'm just gonna bring up Kronk. Only because he actually...
Same principle. And
they
he
draw brings it to light.
Because he's like a size 38 waist. He's like, he's got these massive shoulders. Like,
he has his tiny waist and huge shoulders.
But it's like, I don't know, it's just one of those things, it's like... You also wonder how Hiccup became how he was, considering he's this humongous freaking slab of meat on muscle.
I think he took after his mother in that regard.
Like, probably, yeah. Like, he took after her in every way. That's probably why he is the way he is.
But I thought Stoic was a very, very well-developed character.
And you gotta, and spoiler alert, of course, we're gonna give for this, you gotta love any Viking death scene. Because they are just inherent like that, like Viking, Nordic, I guess I'll also say, like in Thor 2. Thor 2 is not the greatest movie, but the funeral scene and any scene with Thor and Loki in it, together, usually just with no one else but them, is the best scenes of the movies right there. But same with Stoic's death, spoiler alert in the second one.
Yeah, that I didn't see that coming the first time.
Sad.
I didn't think they'd actually like kill Stoic.
Yeah, they did.
I thought maybe like
you almost think they'd kill the mom, but nope.
I was so hoping they wouldn't kill the mom. Like I thought he'd like maybe save Hiccup, but just get injured in the process, like Hiccup did in the first one. But I'm like, no, he's actually dead. Oh my gosh!
To send Toothless away. Just hurting him wouldn't do it. You have to kill him.
Okay, then that part broke my heart because he's dead and Toothless comes out of his daze, and then Hiccup gets mad at him. He's like, go away, get away from him. You killed him, and I'm like. No, it's already bad if your dad's dead. Don't send your best friend away. It wasn't his fault.
It just happens.
I know. And
it happens in every movie, and it never works out for him. So.
Well, and he realized that later. He knew it wasn't Toothless's fault, but it's just no. It's already
very sad moment for everybody involved.
But that death scene, though, is... there is kind of a coolness to Viking funerals with, like... setting them on a boat and setting them on fire.
That's how I want to go out. That's how I want to be buried.
That's how you want to be buried?
That's how I want to be buried. I want you to friggin' light up me, put me on a canoe and light it on fire with a flaming arrow. Just like call up Jeremy Renner or Orlando Bloom or whoever you got to get in touch with to be able to shoot a flaming arrow at my boat. But
well, who would you rather have? It'll be your funeral.
Well, I got Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Renner. Orlando Bloom, Luke Evans, or Stephen Amell.
Or there's Jennifer Lawrence.
I like J-Law, but I don't think I have
Okay,
J-Law
so no to J-Law.
No offense,
okay.
J-Law, you're great. Love you. I've never not liked you in anything I've ever seen you in. She probably doesn't listen to our podcast. Hey, if she did, you know.
Hey, that'd be cool.
You know, a big jump from riff tracks to
if we went from riff tracks to J-Law, why are we not bigger yet?
If she, for some reason, was listening to a podcast on YouTube, but only on YouTube, might I add, about How to Train Your Dragon, and somehow heard this book. Anyway, I don't know who I'd choose for that. But, okay, I'm joking, of course, but that's a pretty badass way to go. Like,
I'll admit that.
That's a good way to be buried. Vikings knew what they were doing. Like,
well, and I liked it in Thor with Frigga because, for one, she, like, goes off almost, like, the edge of the world and then turns into, like, glittering stardust. Like, that just made it even cooler.
That's how you bury a god, right?
Well, and then they sent off the orbs of light, and I'm just like...
Buried frozen. Or not very frozen.
Not
very
frozen,
very
tangled.
in that moment, because there was a boat.
There's
orbs
the
of light,
boat.
floating lights. It's, like, very tangled in that moment.
But that part, it was just beautiful.
Yeah. And the scene was, good scene for Hiccup, too. Really, I love the animation of the film. Very beautiful in all aspects of its animation.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way, it's just very well done. Toothless and all the other dragons just look great.
Oh, yeah.
They're unique. Like, all the dragon designs are unique and cool looking in their own
I really like the
respect.
design of Valka's dragon, Cloud Jumper.
Oh, yeah, he's cool.
Do you remember
He's
he
got,
looked
4
like?
wings.
He reminded me of an owl. I don't know what it was. I think it's the way he turned his head.
They all have those animals they're based.
Toothless is a puppy.
Clearly a puppy.
Well, he's a puppy, and then he looks like those exotic birds.
Yeah, you somehow made a dragon look like the most adorable, cuddly thing in the universe, and I gotta give it
how do you do that?
But he's still a freaking badass.
He can look terrifying when he wants to, but other times he just gives you little puppy eyes.
He's really cool as a Dargon, and it's just like, and even the big, like the huge Leviathan ones. Those ones are like terrifying, and they're really cool looking. And the other ones, you've got your classic ones that look normal. Like what was Stoic?
I think it was like
Rock Crusher or something like that.
Rock Crusher, Bone Crusher, something like
something that Stoic would ride. It's like
yeah.
he looks cool, and there's of course the goofy ones, like the big fat ones, like.
Yeah.
But they still look interesting. Like, I love that it's not just the same set of dragons flying around.
They all have unique designs.
And they're probably based off the ones from the books, of course, but...
I keep forgetting How to Train Your Dragon is a book.
So they're very different from the books, but...
Is it really?
I think it's just one... Well, I think the dragons in that are this big.
Oh, really? They're that small?
I think. And Toothless is...
That's not a dragon!
And Toothless is actually toothless. Actually.
Oh, he doesn't have retractable teeth?
Yes, he actually has. And I can't wait for that courtship scene with him and the Light Fury in the next one. Because that looks... Because it really is those
just
really
him
weird,
hopping around.
exotic birds who do weird things with their wings. It's like very much as fun.
That's literally the first thing I thought of when I saw that. I'm like, he's like those birds from Planet Earth.
That's what they're trying to do right there.
And
it's just goofy and funny, and it's like, wow, this is really hilarious.
Well, and then Hiccup's off to the side going, "You're doing great, bud."
You're doing great.
Hiccup the wingman.
Best wingman right there.
Which I know we've barely seen anything of her in the trailers, but just from what I have seen, I love the design of the Light Fury. She looks gorgeous.
Pretty much just toothless but white.
I know, but like
and
she's
with some feminine features, like.
But like her skin almost looks like pearl, like a sparkly pearl.
Probably the idea.
And it's gorgeous. I love it. So like I can't wait to like see what she's gonna be like.
I want to get a closer look at it because it's like okay. It's not just the color change. She looks feminine.
Yeah.
And Toothless looks masculine. So it's like, how do you... I'm like, there's obviously more than just change the color palette.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what is it that you did? Maybe it's the eye color? I don't know what you did to make her look like a girl and him look like a guy.
She doesn't even have, she doesn't have eyelashes or anything like they do in those cartoons.
It's not like the dragon in Shrek. Like, wet lipstick and eyelashes.
Yeah, who clearly looked like a female dragon.
It was like, how do you manage to make that happen? Like, I want to take a closer look at it and be like, what is it, the difference between her and Toothless?
Well, like, just looking...
Look at the poster. Yeah.
I have the movie poster
Okay, her ears are smaller. She's got one set of little fling on the side of her head.
Fin
she doesn't have the spikes on her nose.
Her eye color is different. It's like a light
blue. His
light
is
blue. Well, his is green.
I don't know what it is. The nose might be different slightly.
Her scale,
like he's got more defined scales. Like she's only got a little bit around his eyes. I think she just looks softer. I guess. Yeah, she's kind of sparkly.
I think that's it. She has that more soft look.
Yeah. Just kind
I say
feminine
I don't know what
dragon.
it is. Well, and a lot of times with animals they'll have like similar features, but like the
Yeah.
feminine ones usually are like kind of smaller, like you said, the little fins on her head or her ears are smaller.
Ears are smaller.
It's like
She looks like Nala there. We're looking at a picture of her right now.
oh my gosh, she does
She
look
looks
like Nala.
Exactly.
How is that even possible?
Vitamin water! So I'm gonna answer every time you ask that question.
Olin Rogers joke for those of you
We
unfamiliar.
talked about it.
Well, see, like right here, it's like
She still looks like Nala to me.
that is so weird to me. Like that's just so
funny, isn't it?
interesting. Is that her design is only very subtly different from Toothless, yet you can look at her and tell
Female.
she's a female. And that's what I love about the design is that it's so
It's probably
subtle.
also the way they animate her mannerisms.
That's true.
Probably it plays effect in that because
Well, she kind of has like, it seems like a lot of like feminine like animal characters always kind of have like the half closed eyelids. You know, have you ever noticed that? They kind of have their eyes like partially shut and they're kind of looking at them like, oh sweet, you know.
That's probably how it works. I don't know. I'm not an animator. I do love watching that kind of stuff. Man, I love behind the scenes stuff on movies. Just how they edit it and how they shoot it and how they do this stuff with it. Sound design also, we talked about that today in my class. And it's just fascinating how creative some people can get. And I also love watching how they animate stuff. Because the little subtle things they do here and there to make it look better. And just how they determine the mannerisms of like, especially animal characters. Like on Lion King, they looked at actual lions to determine how they move, which is why they look amazing when they walk.
Yeah, but they didn't even get an actual lion roar.
Yes, it's not a lion roar.
Lion roars are weak. That's what's sad. They're called they're called the king of the jungle, and yet they make
because
that
they
noise.
kill things. That's why they're the king. But
if you're gonna show your dominance, you've got to have a more beastly sounding roar than that pathetic
it
display.
sounds more. It sounds more like the roar I'm pretty sure the roar Mufasa makes when he wakes up is actually a lion roar because that's what they sound.
That probably is more accurate.
Just look at just yawning.
Actually, there's a student I work with who actually wants to be an animator when he grows up, and he draws a lot. Like he shows me a lot of like the little cartoon drawings that he makes, and he's actually really good. And I told him like, dude, you need to like go work for Disney or something because you would be amazing. And I really hope he does one day.
I know, and it's just I love seeing that kind of stuff, and especially on movies like How to Train Your Dragon that are, I mean, because you see some animated movies that are just like it's another animated movie. But then there's some that really like to push the boundaries, like to challenge themselves, like to do new things, which is why I have a lot of respect for companies like DreamWorks and Disney Animation and Pixar, because they're the ones who like to push themselves, and also for, of course, the company that did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Disney Animation on that is miles beyond what they've done. Like the amount of dedication they did to it, because it looks like a normal movie when you look in the previews, but in the movie, it's got this very good comic booky feel to it that is just amazing. Really like that movie, and so I respect the animators a lot because it's a lot of work, a lot of effort, it's a lot of time and computing power too most of the time. Especially with a movie as complicated as How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh
because I mean, like Into the Spider-Verse, it's mostly just it's set in urban area. So that, of course, presents its own challenges. Lots of lights, lots of colors, lots of moving things, people. That presents one challenge. But How to Train Your Dragon, like Frozen, like even in the new trailer, Frozen and Tangled, I mean, you've got things like wild hair. Hair is always fun. Like,
oh yeah.
I imagine everything's fun in the sarcastic manner as an animator. But, like, you got, especially with How to Train Your Dragon, because not only do you have, you got human characters, disproportionate human characters in some of them, but you've got dragons that are supposed to be unique in their own way, in the way they move, in the way they're designed, in the way they behave. Like Toothless very much behaves like a puppy, and then you've got water on top of it.
Water's always hard for animators.
You've got clouds and fog, and then you've got ice in the second one very heavily.
Ice and snow, yeah.
Like breathing ice, like moving glaciers, like ice, snow, and water. Still water.
Well, and then there's fire,
And,
because
of course, there's
Hiccup has
fire.
a flame sword.
And and the dragons breathe fire.
Well, yeah, duh, of course.
A lot of moving parts.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I respect animators a lot, because there's a lot of crap. It's like, dang, we got a lot to do.
There really is a lot. Another thing I really want to say that I like love and respect about How to Train Your Dragon is, I don't want to necessarily say it brings to light, but they made characters that basically have physical disabilities. First you had Toothless, who when he got shot down, he injured his tail, at least lost part of his tail, and so Hiccup had to build him something to help him be able to fly. Then at the end of the first one, Hiccup loses a foot.
But don't forget they also have the one guy who has no hand.
Oh yeah, then there's Gobber, who has no hand, so he has like a hook or
interchangeable parts.
Yeah, he has interchangeable parts. I think, at least by the second. I don't remember if he had any in the first. It's been a while since I've seen the first one.
Oh yeah, he had a couple.
But like, I love how, it's not like, oh, they got hurt in a battle. It's just some like, just a cut or a gash or just some regular wound. No, Hiccup in an accident lost his whole foot. So he had to have this mechanical leg, which at first, he kind of struggled with, and later like adapted to it, which I really like, because there are people in the world that have, prosthetic legs or, prosthetic limbs of any kind. And they're, a lot of times, they learn to adapt to them, and it's, it's an amazing thing to see. And so I really liked how the two main characters are not just regular human and creature, they both have physical disabilities, and he even brings it to light too. He's like, oh yeah, you lost part of your tail, so you had to get even with me and make me lose my foot, huh?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I just love that. Coming from a background of working with people with like physical or mental disabilities, like that kind of thing, I don't want to say hits close to home, but like I really appreciate it when they include that kind of thing like in movies. Well, again, like I said, with Hiccup's mother, she was kind of, like I said, she was socially awkward, which, is not something you see all the time in movies. And I don't mean like, they're not good at talking to people and they're shy. Like, it's just in the way, you don't just act normally. Like I said, she acts kind of animalistic because she's been around dragons, and that's not something you see a whole lot, which I thought is really interesting. I mean, the last time at least that as I can recall, that you've seen a character kind of like that is like Tarzan. But even then, he still acted pretty human for somebody who's been around gorillas his whole life. But I mean, it's just little things like that I think really makes the franchise unique. Again, it's not just a typical human boy and a dragon. It's like, no, they actually they have prosthetic limbs, and it kind of sets them apart from everybody. Which I also do want to say, Astrid too was a female Neville Longbottom. She looked pretty awkward, I guess, in the first one, and then by the second one, I thought she was actually really pretty.
The other ones didn't blossom. I'm gonna point that out.
No, they did not.
The other Motley crew members didn't really blossom.
I can't remember any of their names, which I feel bad. But like,
yeah, I don't think anyone.
The boys just grew facial hair, barely.
That's pretty much it.
They
really
did not.
sprout.
They did not.
I mean,
really
even
sprout.
I thought in the second one, I'm like, dang, Hiccup sprouted.
Oh, he sprouted all right.
It's like the other one. It's like, okay, we'll make Hiccup look more older, more attractive. We'll do the same with Astrid. Everyone else is fine. We don't want to do that much.
They don't have a lot of screen time. Who cares?
Toothless will be the same, but he's still Toothless. And again, I just love the level of detail they put on these characters.
Oh yeah.
It's just a nice. I mean, it's kind of an age-old story of befriending the beast, of the son convincing the father that he's wrong, because that's the whole story. We've been told a lot, but
oh yeah.
But you can't go wrong with some of these stories.
No, you can't. I will say, I think the movies have pretty interesting music. I will say though they're not entirely memorable because I don't remember a whole lot.
Yeah. I've only seen each movie once, so I can't really answer.
There's one.
They got fun music. I like the music.
Yeah, there's one bit of music in particular I remember from the first one, and actually I remember because in high school when I did Peter Pan, my senior year, and just before the curtain, before curtain, they'd be playing just kind of just music, ambiance, whatever, and there was a bit of music from How to Train Your Dragon. At the time, I didn't realize it was from the movie, but later I watched the movie again and realized it. I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna try and find it, and if I find it, I'll put it in the description of the video. But I believe it plays like when Hiccup is first kind of getting to know Toothless. Yeah. And they're like doing things together, and I remember like Toothless like drawing in the dirt while he was doing this. I remember it was a really beautiful piece of music. I'm gonna try and find it, and I'll put it with the description if I do. But yeah, the music sounds cool like in the movie, but it's nothing that I think really sticks with me.
Speaking of music, did you get that complete music of Return of the King thing yet?
No, I haven't yet.
Did you get it?
I keep forgetting.
I was listening to the Two Towers soundtrack yesterday, and I was like, it's so sad I still can't listen to those two parts yet. Yeah. I probably could, but I didn't want to go to YouTube and find them, so I was like, I just want them on my computer always and forever, like Napoleon Dynamite.
But yeah, that's just the big thing with me, is if the music doesn't quite stick with me, it's
not particularly memorable, no?
Yeah, it's not quite, I don't want to say not quite good, but, you know, if it doesn't stick with me, I don't appreciate it as much.
We've made this clear. We are fans of memorable movie soundtracks.
Yep. And
really the best way to do that is the John Williams theme. Play the theme over and over again until you just hammered into their freaking heads. That's how they did it with Darth Vader, and it's how it's worked ever since. It's also the Howard Shore thing. Whenever the Arkenstone's on screen, we're going to play its stupid music because dang it, I wrote it!
Same with the One Ring.
The One Ring, Sting, Thorin, Gent, every time, man. At least with objects, not so much with people. Whenever a freaking object that has a theme is on screen, we're going to play its music.
Is there a reason you're growling while you're saying this?
Yes! No. Love you, Howard. If you're listening. Howard Shore and Jennifer Lawrence are listening to our podcast.
We're getting a little too hopeful, I think.
Hey, guy can dream, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I think our hopes have gone up a little too high since the Riff Tracks
email.
Oh,
my hopes are still very, very grounded. I'm still hoping that one of them will listen.
That'd be pretty cool.
If we can get Mike Nelson, Kevin Murphy, or Bill Corbett to send us an email, I'll be pretty darn happy about that.
Mike, Kevin, Bill, if you're listening.
Probably not. We should do another Riff Tracks once we can get their attention. Right?
Yeah, there we go. So now, what do you have like any predictions or anything? What you think the new How to Train Your Dragon will be like?
Honestly, I think the dragons are all gonna leave. I think Toothless and Hiccup are gonna have to part ways.
Oh no!
Well,
I don't want to see that.
There's an entire another dimension filled with dragons, and the fact that dragons don't exist in society today, and this is kind of being played off as a historical thing in Viking history. It's probably going to be that the dragons are all going to have to leave.
No, I don't.
I can think of really no better ending for the story.
Toothless
and the Life Eater, you're going to go off into this hidden world as the Alpha. Because let's not forget that.
He is the Alpha.
Toothless is a badass.
We'll start a pride all our own.
What's that from?
Lion King 2.
Right, that's right. I don't remember that.
Well, which I remember there's a meme I found with that scene where he's telling Kiara, we'll run away and start a pride, and they're like, does anyone remember that Disney made a sex joke?
Does anyone remember that Disney made a sex joke? It's literally all they do. We just don't see them. They're not as blatant about it as robots, but still some of the greatest jokes right there. But
we need to have an episode just for robots. I'm gonna say that right now.
AKA us quoting Robin Williams in Robots.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a good movie, but it's made even better by Robin Williams.
Robin Williams made that movie. What else was Ewan McGregor and Drew Carey?
Got plenty of people in it.
Yeah.
Stanley Tucci.
Oh yeah, Stanley Tucci, duh. I love Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, he's great. I like him. I've never not
Caesar
liked him.
Flickerman.
I tolerated Sea of Monsters because of him, because he was perfect for Mr. D.
He was in Sea of Monsters?
He was Mr. D. He was Dionysus. Do you remember that? He was perfect for him.
Clearly, I don't remember that.
It was a bad movie, so I don't blame you. But
that's exactly why I don't remember. I blocked that movie from my mind.
Only good casting choice in that movie.
Yeah,
except Black Grover. I like Black Grover.
I love Black Grover.
He was perfect for him.
No,
love it.
I've purposefully blocked that movie from my mind.
Sorry. Him, Black Grover, I don't know the actual name, and Nathan Fillion as Hermes. I'm a big Nathan Fillion fanboy. I don't know why.
Yeah, I was about to say,
really
why? You've, like, hardly seen him in anything.
I've never watched Firefly. I've never watched Castle. But I don't know. I just enjoy him as an actor because he's just really funny and he's really great. And he enjoys what he does. And his Uncharted fan film, the Uncharted fan film he was in, was very funny. Very well done.
I don't know anything about that game, and yeah, I actually enjoyed that.
He played it perfectly. Like, I saw Jack play the third game, and I was like, yeah, this is perfect. He was perfect, this Nathan Drake. But yeah, I think the dragons are all going to leave. It's going to be very sad, because everyone's going to have to part with their dragon, and especially more so,
I'm going to cry.
Yeah, I probably think that's the idea.
Which, actually, I already know that's going to happen, because I looked at some of the IMDb reviews. I didn't read any that said spoilers, but, like, there was a couple that just in the tagline said, the ending made me cry. I'm like, no! If people are saying that, it's definitely going to make me cry.
Yeah, I mean, if they kill Toothless, I'm going to be mad.
Oh, I'm leaving.
They better Dark not kill my dragon.
If they kill Toothless, I'm leaving.
My best guess, no, they're going to leave.
Oh.
They're going to go to this hidden world, and they're going to live out the rest of their Dargon days. Because dark dragons aren't safe in this world. They've proven that. Yeah. 3 times over.
Well, like they haven't showed much of a villain. There's like a blip of him in the trailers. We
just don't know much about him. Probably another dragon hunter, to be perfectly honest.
Probably.
Unless they're, well, of course, at least the second one was more original. He wasn't just a dragon hunter.
Yeah.
But, excuse me.
I don't know if he'll be like a dragon hunter.
We'll find out, but I think it's just. I mean,
like,
there's this hidden world full of dragons, and dragons aren't safe. Dragons aren't safe like the people are gonna try to kill them, but it's just like, he's gonna have to leave, and it's gonna be real sad. Because this is not a series that holds back. It's not an animated thing holds back. They go like, oh, people are gonna die, and it's gonna be sad. We're gonna make it sad. It's gonna be heartbreaking. People are gonna lose limbs. And that's my prediction.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sad. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't really have any predictions, honestly.
It's funny because it's kind of a smaller franchise, like in terms of fan base.
Yeah.
But it's still like, it's very iconic. Toothless is
I agree.
Toothless mostly, just his design and the way he is very iconic.
I like his design. I mean, not just like we mentioned before, how he just looks like a puppy. Like, just the overall design, when you look at him, he doesn't look like a typical dragon. He has a very, like, flat head and flat face. Because usually you think dragons, you think big, scaly spikes.
I still love those dragons.
Just very, very scary looking. Yeah, he looks squishy.
Like, he looks squishy.
Yeah, and again, like, his head is very, very flat. He has, like, no nose, practically. He has really big ears. I mean, it's just not a very typical dragon design, and yet it works.
He's got big anime eyes.
He has the anime eyes.
I mean, even Smaug's eyes, scale-wise, are big, but they're not, like, huge on his face.
Yeah.
Same with Draco's, but no, he's got big anime eyes.
Yeah, like, I like that about him, is that he's not a typical-looking dragon, and because of that, it's made him a very unique addition to the world of dragons.
Yeah. I will say, I think most of the other dragons do get left in the dust, probably for good reason, because you can't flesh out all of them.
Sadly, no.
Of course, they do a lot in the first one, just like looking at what the different dragons do and how they behave. They did that enough, but of course, mostly, Toothless is the secondary main character, so of course he's going to be very more fleshed out than the other ones, and frankly, that's okay, because Toothless is great.
Uh-huh. I like how they gave him spikes in the second one.
Yeah, upgrade him a little bit.
But I like how they even, like, clap together, like, little,
Clamshells?
I don't know how to describe it. Clamshells, tongs, I don't even know. But they like, clap together. It's kind of cute. And they glow now. That part I just want to say from the second one, when he, like, bursts from the ice in this big, glowing purple and just looking totally epic.
It was great. I
remember cheering the first time I actually saw that. I was like, that is amazing! Seriously though,
because as you mentioned about the disabled and like all that stuff, he's got the missing fin, and you see him kind of struggle with that throughout the 2 movies. So it's he has his own journey. Like you see him overcome things, and it's just like he's strong and he's great, and you're like, yeah, do it, man.
Well, and it's not just like at first he struggles to fly because he doesn't have a fin, and then he gets one, but then in the beginning of the second one, you see he really can't fly unless Hiccup like helps control the fin.
Yeah, so then he's got to learn to be a little more self-sufficient.
Yeah, then he learns to pretty much say, okay, I can do it without Hiccup.
Now he's gonna learn how to find love.
Our little baby's growing up.
Although it's probably more out of just for the sake of the survival of our species. Unless she really ain't that type of girl, we don't know much about her yet. But it's safe to assume.
Yeah, no, that whole thing with the Light Fury, I'm just gonna be curious to see how that plays out, because you can clearly see in the trailer.
Cute.
It'll be cute, and you see like in the trailers at first when he's like trying to show off, she's kind of like, okay.
Well, she's probably never met a Night Fury before. I mean, unless they're more in the other room, but I don't think
Who knows? I mean, she could probably be a little freaked out at first, like, you know, this is a Night Fury. Probably a little weirded out by his displays.
Yeah, he's also very... yeah.
And then I get the feeling she'll probably be like... She'll, like, fly off and kind of reject him for a little while, and then eventually something will happen to come around.
Instant.
Well, yeah, no, it won't be instant. Although that has happened in some other animal movies. Of course, I can't think any off the top of my head, but I know it's happened. Yeah, really, just because there's not a whole lot in the trailers to kind of give you an idea of what's going on, I personally don't have any predictions. I just think it'll be fun, and from what I saw in the IMDb reviews, it'll be a good wrap-up. Like, pretty much about 90% of the reviews I saw were like 10s and 9s saying it was a great movie and it was a great finale to the trilogy. That's basically all I'm expecting, is it'll just be a good wrap-up to the story. Despite the fact I'm kind of like, I don't want the story to end, but I don't like when any stories end. Don't make me retell my story of the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really just all I got. I don't have specific predictions, other than, like we said, Toothless will find love. At least I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing in the trailer is just, it's adorable, in my opinion. Do you have a favorite character from the movies at all?
I'd probably say Toothless.
Toothless? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to save Toothless. Or I might even save Valka. Just because, again, like, she's a different kind of character, and plus, you know, she lived with dragons. That would just be so cool. And, like, she learned to, like, tame them and live with them and get to know, like, what makes each dragon tick, you know? And it wasn't just she lived with dragons. She actually, like, you know, helped, because there were a lot of them that were, like, you know, injured by other dragons or hunters, and she actually, like, you know, helped them, you know, heal their wounds and their injuries and, you know, stuff like that. She took care of the dragons. It wasn't just she lived with them. I don't know. I just think it would be really cool to live with dragons. Because I freaking love dragons.
Yes, we need dragons in the world, and I think that's an excellent place to end this. We need dragons.
Our final thought. We need dragons in the world.
Now it's time for my final thought.
We need dragons in the world.
We need dragons in the world.
Well, hey, at one point you actually believed dragons were real.
I did. I'm still not entirely unconvinced.
I'm one of those where it's like, you know, I don't fully believe they're real, but at the same time, I don't fully push away the thought. Just because, I mean, I don't know. Just the thought of it is kind of cool if dragons were actually real. Comes with having an imagination. And, you know, I've always loved dragons, so hey, why not hope that they're real, right? No other thoughts on How to Train a Dragon?
Not too much else to say.
Other than I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. We might try and see it sometime soon, I'm hoping. Which if we do see it before next week, I will probably, either me or both of us, depending, might give a review on the movie in our next episode. Which I know, I kind of said this earlier, but our episode next week on we're recording on the 28th. You'll technically see it on March 1st. But to finish out February, for Black History Month, we're going to talk about Black Panther. Which I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of thoughts on Black Panther, and I say that in a good way. Because it's just an amazing movie, and it's one of my favorite Marvel movies, actually. For a lot of different reasons. Yeah, so next episode will be on Black Panther, and I really look forward to talking about that. I'm assuming you are too.
Say it again, sorry.
I said I'm excited to be talking about Black Panther, and I'm assuming you are too.
Oh, of course, I love Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
One of the greatest. I mean, honestly, really amazing movie.
Yeah, I won't say too much, just because I will just save it for next week. But, very good movie, and I'm looking forward to talking about that. So we'll finish up the month of February with that episode. And then, hopefully after that, we'll be able to give you a lineup for this next upcoming month. We're still getting episodes for that worked out. But anyway, that will wrap up our episode tonight. If you like this episode, please like our video and subscribe to our channel. And you know to email us with comments, questions, or topic suggestions at forcecast327@gmail.com, or comment on our posts on Facebook, or even Facebook message us. That also works too. Austin, any final words?
No, she pretty much covered it all. Thank you for joining in today.
We will see you guys next time, and may the Force be with you.